من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم اجعل قلبي بارا ومليسارا وشيكارا ورسيدارا وأولادي أبرارا واجعلني عند قبر نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم مستقرا وقرارا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء. تفرد بالأولية والقدم ووسم كل شيء ما عداه بالفناء والعدم. كما قال عز شان كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت. وقال كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. سبحان من لا يخفى عليه اختلاف النيات ولا يعزب عنه معاصي العباد في الخلوات. سبحان الله الذي منه خلقة العباد وإليه المعاد. فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خير يراه ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شر يراه. نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو الملك الذي لا ينازع في ملكه ولا يضاد في حكمه. يعذب من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء ويرحم من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء. تعذيبه المسيئين عدل وعفوه تفضل ونشهد أن محمدا سيد المرسلين وخير المبشرين والمنذرين صلى الله عليه وآله الهداة المهديين من ركب سفينتهم نجا واهتدى ومن تخلف عنها ضل فغرقا وهوى أوصيكم عباد الله بالاعتصام بالتقوى فإنه حبل متين وأروة وثقى فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهليكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة صدق الله العلي العظيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I begin by advising myself and all of you to practice the taqwa and the piety of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as is the best of provisions. The verse that I recited for today's khutbah of Jum'ah is from Surah Tahrim, in which, chapter number 66, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draws our attention toward an important phenomena of protection. He says, قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا. Protect yourself and your family from the fire. وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. The fuel of which are the people themselves. And of course, it's not going to be something from outside like woods or coals or something else that will be providing the fuel for the fire of the hell. It will be the people that will be thrown into. Of course, Mufassirin have spoken a great deal in regards to the actuality of this phenomena. This is not something which is being used metaphorically. There are many examples are given in Quran that are used metaphorically. This is not one of those examples. In fact, that is the reality, how Jahannami and the people, inhabitants of Jahannam will be treated. And that's one way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showing the power and the might that He has in order to give proper justice, which is unattainable, especially in the world that we live in. Because we treat things in a different way and respective and relative to how you and I are able to take care. But of course, the ultimate reward and the ultimate punishment rests in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, a young man fell on the ground after hearing this verse. When he heard this verse, so there are certain verses in Quran which really shake you, which really awaken you, and bring you out of the slumber, if you want to call it. That right away, an eye-opener, right? Many such ayat of Quran they serve that purpose. One of those ayat is this ayat. The moment you hear and the chills that it gives you right away, you start thinking and pondering and looking at yourself. So the man fell to the ground after hearing this ayat. Rasulullah promised paradise for him, said, ذَلِكَ لِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامِي وَخَافَ وَعِيدٍ. That is someone who fears my maqam and the one who fears my wa'da and the covenant that I have given. So the covenant that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given, the maqam that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala possesses, if someone sees that and right away is fearful, that person realized that yes, of course, the punishment that is being mentioned over here is not something which is far from reality. This is actualization of it. The method of saving, now once I have that attention from you by reciting an ayat which gives goosebumps and which grabs the attention of the audience, then it becomes very easy to go ahead and give you the rest of the information. So method of saving family members from the hellfire is through amr and nahi. If they accept it, you've saved them from the fire. If they reject it, then you have at least performed your duty. There's a riwayat which says, Rahimallahu rajulan qala ya ahla salatukum, siyamukum, zakatukum, miskinakum, yatimukum, jiranukum. Which says, oh my family, oh my relatives, beware of your fast, beware of your prayers, beware of your zakat, beware of your masakin, your destitutes, beware of your yatim and aitam and those who are orphans, and beware of your neighbors as well. Meaning what? All of these things fall under the category that you are responsible and you need to take care of that. And if you're failing to take care of these things, then of course this ayat is there for you. So what is our responsibility toward our family? And there are many places where this responsibility has been mentioned in Quran. We'll highlight a few of those examples and scenarios, and towards the end, a real life problem that all of us are facing. Number one, first instance in this verse we recited is Qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it's not like something which is out of your reach. If it was something which was out of our reach, Allah would not invite us to go ahead and do so. There are certain things that you say, well, no, it's not attainable. I can't do this. It's just impossible. That can't be achieved. It's just not possible for me to. No, if it was possible, that's the reason Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inviting you. Qu anfusakum. You need to go ahead and protect yourself. Someone else is not going to come around or hope for that someone else will come around and protect you. Of course, we believe in the Savior. We believe in the Munji. We believe in the Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. But of course, prior to his arrival, you need to make sure that you are right on that path so that you can fit right in when Imam arrives. But if you're not, then of course it'll be difficult for you to align yourself with Imam as well. So, Qu anfusakum is amr, fi'l amr. It's commanding you. It's giving you the information that yes, you are capable of doing so. And also on top of that, not just yourself, anfusakum, ahlikum as well. That not just you're responsible for yourselves. You say, well, I'm responsible for myself and I'm not responsible for anyone else. This ayat negates that fact. No, you need to also protect your family as well. And this is something which is a phenomenon. You and I don't even need to dig deep and understand this. Why? Because as someone who maintains the family, someone who runs the affairs of the family, as in some houses, husbands do the job. Some houses, maybe single mothers or mothers are the ones who are running the affairs of the house, calling the shots. You realize that your priorities are you and your family. You're already protecting them. You're already taking care of them. You want to keep them away from all the harms that exist in the society. Now, you keep them away from the immediate harms, but sometimes when we don't see the long, distant harm, we don't see it clearly and we go in that direction. So that's what Quran is telling you over here. Yeah, the small, distant things that are in front of you, things that are harmful in front of you, you quickly avoid them. You're not going to jump into the fire. You're not going to go ahead and eat something which could be, devastating. None of those things that are immediately posing danger to you, you're going to avoid from all of those things. And that is, as a family member, you are already innately you're taught to do. This is, this is intuitive. Nobody comes and teaches you that. You already know that. That's in your system that you want to protect, not just yourself, but those who are in your surrounding as well, especially if they are your family members. But that said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is enforcing this concept that not just you're responsible for protecting yourself, but you also have to protect your family as well. Surah Taha 132 says, وَأْمُرْ أَهْلَكَ بِالصَّلَاةِ وَاسْتَبِرْ عَلَيْهَا. And bid your family to prayer and be steadfast in maintaining it. Yes, that is also your duty. One of the things that as parents we need to inculcate into our children is the wajibat, the obligations that Islam has placed upon us. If we don't believe in these obligations ourselves, you think they're going to have any effect on our children? If we don't practice these things ourselves, you think the children will be able to adopt these things and they'll be able to practice these things? Yes, that is the far reality. That is far-fetched. That's something which is dreaming, in other words. It is fantasizing. So you got to be realistic in regards to the fact that you should be able to do it before you can go ahead and tell someone else. So Quran clearly gives you this command. وَأَمُرْ أَهْلَكَ. It did not say, it is okay if you do so. It's a recommendation. It's a وَأَمُرْ أَهْلَكَ. This is amr to your family, bis-salate, that they become those who pray and steadfast in maintaining. It's not just once in a while. Someone can do certain thing for time being and then not sustain it for too long. No, it has to be maintained for a longer period. Prayer offered here and there, fast offered here and there, and things of charity offered here and there are not something which is, of course, in anything in our lives. If something which is done for a longer period is done and maintained for a longer period, that's what Quran says, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ دَائِمُونَ. Those who are da'im, meaning continuous when it comes to their salat. It's not like they are seasonal worshippers, seasonal, prayees. And you can easily relate to seasonal attendees of masajid as well, right? So Ramadan comes, you see them every single day. Muharram comes, you see them every single day. And then the 10 days of Muharram are gone, and Ramadan is gone, and you don't see them again. And so this is not called da'im. This is just a booster that you're getting, and then you need to go ahead and maintain this. You need to go ahead and keep it going and sustain it. Third, Surah Shura says, وَأَنذِرْ عَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ, and warn your relatives. This was, of course, the command to Rasulullah, that, O Prophet, when he was commanded to go ahead and start the process of propagation, وَأَنذِرْ عَشِيرَتَكَ الْأَقْرَبِينَ. Warn. The word anzir means what? Warn. Rasulullah is Bashir and Nadir. Nadir, you and I should also have the quality of being Nadir to our family. Anzir ashiratak al-aqrabin. We got to warn them. We got to continuously warn them of the ill effects of the things that happen around. Fourthly, Surah Luqman. Hazrat Luqman, there are many recommendations that are associated with him in Quran, which he gives to his son. So that fits right into this category where you're not just responsible for your own amal, but you have to go ahead and also make sure that those who are your subordinate, those who are your family members, they're also on board with this. He said, Ya bunayya, aqimis salat wa'mur bil ma'ruf. Oh, my son. And then, of course, father speaking to son adds a little bit compassion to it. It's not more like a command from a boss to a subordinate, or master to a servant. It's what? It's with love and compassion. Because if you want someone to do something for a long period and that is good, and you want them to adopt it and you want them to embrace it, it has to start with love and compassion. It cannot start with a stick. It cannot start with, any sort of violence for that matter. Fifthly, Surah Azab, قُلْ لِأَزْوَاجِكَ وَبَنَاتِكَ وَنِسَاءِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. O Prophet, tell your wives, your daughters, and the nisa of mu'mineen, and the women of the mu'mineen. What? Prophet, tell your wives, your daughters, and the women of the faithful to draw closely over themselves their chadars, their veils, when going out. That makes it likely for them to be recognized and not be troubled. There's so much discussion in this ayat right here. Just the translation, last part of it. That makes it likely for them to be recognized and not be troubled. Not be troubled. All this discussions on feminism and feminists that are coming out and speaking against the concept of hijab, and that Islam has put this bar on the women and oppressing them, and the oppression associated with hijab. And right there is the answer. It says, and not be troubled. When you don't do this, then you are in trouble. But when you do express this, and when you do wear this, then you are not in trouble. Of course, that's not my discussion here, so I'm not going to go in the depths of it. Sixthly, Surah Zumar, إِنَّ الْخَاسِرِينَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَأَهْلِيهِمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Again, another instruction regarding you and your family, that losers are those who ruin themselves, their families, on the Day of Judgment. Well, I'm responsible for losing, and I'm responsible for ruining myself. No, you can ruin your family along with you as well at the same time. Persistent in wrong things, of course, will lead to that ruining. Similarly, there are narrations in this context as well, which have appeared in the kalam of Ma'sumin, alayhi wassalam, expressing more so from the kalam of Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, alayhi wassalam. He said, "Allimu anfusakum wa ahlikum al-khair wa addabuhum." Teach yourself and your family and discipline them. Allimu anfusakum. First, you need to teach yourself. If I'm not taught, then how am I going to go ahead and teach someone else? That's another issue. That sometimes when we try to teach certain things, we are not well versed and we're not taught enough in it either. But of course, when it comes to human skills, when it comes to things which are intuitive, as we talked about before, those things that Islam, and when you grow up in an Islamic household and family, these are things that are provided for you, and you don't really need to learn these things. This is just done by observation. Children growing up in our Muslim houses as opposed to children growing up in South America in a non-Muslim house. Compare the two children. Children growing up in any other country for that matter, right? Yeah, of course, the background and the country and the ethnicity and all that stuff matters, but at the same time, just compare the two kids that are brought up. Houses, typical Muslim houses where a child grows up, learns to have modesty, learns to have respect for the elders, even if it comes to older siblings. That is also a cultural clash when it comes to, our Desi culture as opposed to the American culture. That's some of the things when it comes to respect as far as your older sibling is concerned. You treat your older sibling with respect. You call their names with respect as well. You add, along with their name, something along the lines of bhai or baji or stuff like that, just to show respect for them. You don't see that as something which is taught here in this part of the world, or in the cultures of this part of the world. And in fact, even when it comes to speaking to your parents, there's a certain level of respect that has to be maintained, and that is taught where? Children are not learning that reading the textbooks and books of ahadith, because all that stuff is in the ahadith books. They're learning it because of the experience that their experiments and they're seeing in the houses, how their family is treating each other, how the father and mother, they treat each other, how they treat the grandparents, how they treat the other siblings. That is all taught as the process of being brought up. So Imam says what? Allimu anfusakum. Teach yourself first, and then your ahl as far as khair is concerned and as far as adab are concerned. Now, of course, all of us are responsible. Sometimes it is a recommendation, and some places it actually becomes an obligation, as we find in the kalam of Rasul Akram Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ul an ra'iyatihi. That all of us are responsible for ourselves, of course, and our subordinates as well. So responsible for his family, and women are responsible for husband and children. And then there are many such riwayat in this regard, which I will skip past so that I can get to that example that is a pressing issue that we see which is spreading in our societies. And of course, this is something which we signed up for. Tarbiyat and training of the children is the responsibility of the leader of the household. Human souls can be rebellious. Right away you see so many changes in mood in life as a child grows up. Your children, you've seen it, or those who have younger kids, when they were 5 years old, when they were 8, when they were 11, when they were 15, when they were 18, when they were 21, how different mood and changes that you find as a child goes through this process of growth. If we cannot break the shackles from our own feet, we cannot free others either. So if we are tied down in something and we want to go ahead and make sure that our children are not tied down, we got to remove the shackles from ourselves as well. So therefore, self-purification is the condition for success in building a sound family, and not just family, but also a sound society. A school environment, social media are heavily influencing our young minds, and they're full of questions, doubts, confusions, criticism about their faith and their family values. Last one, importantly, criticism of their faith. When there's so much criticism of your faith, you prescribe to the religion of Islam, and so Islam teaches this. You follow this religion, Islam does that, Islam says that, Islam, and it's been exploited, it's been shown. And that influence, of course, gets in the way. Sometimes they embrace it, sometimes we don't know, we don't want to do research, we don't want to find out why it says that. And when they try to find out, they are not given the right answers. And of course, that leads to further depression. The disease of online gambling, we are killing the youth of America. Online gambling addiction is a progressive addiction classified as an impulse control disorder. The American Psychiatric Association defines online gambling addiction as a relentless and a repeated problematic involvement in gambling activities that can cause significant harm to the obvious financial resources, relationships, physical and psychological well-being, lowered immunity, more anxiety, depression and stress, financial difficulty, insomnia, long-term depression, suicidal tendencies, regret, guilt, and poor health. Yeah, these are all done by WHO, the Psychiatric Association of America. They associate all of these things with online gambling. Gambling disorder is a diagnosable chronic mental health disorder, much like drug or alcohol abuse. They classify that as that. And of course, this is not my area of expertise. I'm just gathering the facts and presenting it to you, because I see that's something which is part of the issue in our societies. And I'm not speaking about the American boys and girls. I'm talking about our own Muslim boys and girls. Highest suicide attempt rate of all addictions is in gambling. One out of 10 college students are a pathological gambler. According to one meta-analysis conducted by professors at the University of Buffalo, far higher than 2 to 5% of all U.S. general population, that's 10% over there, estimated to have a gambling problem. Another survey of 3,500 Americans between the ages of 18 and 12, 60% have bet on sports and 4% do it daily. Almost 6% reported losing more than $500 in a single day. Those numbers where they're doing it on daily basis because it's so accessible. You got your phone with you. You got the app on it, and you can easily wager and place a bet. When Keith White, executive director at the National Council of Problem Gambling, asked a room of 40 17-year-olds boys in Virginia how many had sports betting app on their phones, 36 of them rose their hands out of 40. Temptation to use it is right there. If you don't have it, then you'll have to download it, I'll have to sign up, I'll have to go through the process. Who cares about it? But once you already have downloaded it and saved it and it's there, the temptation is there. Mid-20s, those placing bets before this point cannot fully process the associated risks. He said they're very susceptible to dopamine and endorphin rushes. Gambling games can affect people at the neurobiological level. Many games have features that trick the brain into thinking a loss is actually a win. For example, a slot machine displays celebratory music, sounds, and the lights on a $3 return for a $5 bet. You put in 5 and you got 3 back. But there's a music playing behind it, and as if you have achieved something. So right away, it gives you incentive to keep on betting more and more. FanDuel, MGM, DraftKings all show a doubling of revenue year over year. Predictions before Super Bowl this year, fans will bet 16 to 23 billion on the Super Bowl this year, or they had bet, according to the American Gaming Association, an all-time high. And then, as I said, this is not for the American public. We fit right into this because we're part of this society now. Again, I'll read the ayat, Surah Tahrim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, qu anfusakum wa ahlikum naran waquduhan nar. O those who believe, save yourself, protect yourselves and your families from the fire whose fuel will be people and stones. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us a tawfiq and ability to be able to fulfill this command of Quran, take care of ourselves and protect our families, protect our societies, and protect our households. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of our waiting Imam, make us amongst the helpers and the solution. Inna al-hasan al-hadith wa ablagh al-mu'idha kitabullah a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim wal 'asri innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilus salihat wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم سبحان من سبقت رحمته غضبه وبسط اليدين بالرحمة سبحان من لم يكلف نفسا إلا دون وسعها وفاني السيئات ولم يجاز بها سبحان من لا يزداد ولا معصي لعبادك إلا كرما وجودا ولا كثرة الذنوب إلا عفوا وصفا نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو لطوف على العباد بجوده والأفضل المذنبين بحلمه ونشهد أن محمدا نبيه وحبيبه سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين بعثه رحمة للعالمين ألا قد أمركم الله في محكم كتابه بالصلاة على نبيه وحبيبه فقال تعليما لكم وتشريفا لصفيه إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وعلى إمام المسلمين وقائد الغر المحجلين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى سيدة النساء العالمين وبذة خاتم النبيين سيدتنا فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلوات الله عليها، وعلى الحسين حسن المجتبى والحسين الشهيد بكربلاء، وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي عليهم الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب الزمان ماهي آثار البدع والطغيان هادم ابنة الشرك والنفاق حاسد فروع البغي والشقاق صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آباء الكرام اتصلت الليالي والأيام. اللهم عجل فرجا وسهل مخرجا واكحل ناظرنا بنظرة منا إليه واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه، وتفضل على أمرائنا المؤمنين بمزيد التوفيقات وإقبال الدرجات وألوف الدرجات. اللهم افعل بنا ما أنت أهله ولا تفعل بنا ما نحن أهله بجاه محمد وآله المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. اللهم اجعل ممن يذكر فتنفع الذكر، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. الله أكبر الله أكبر، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله، أشهد أن عليا ولي الله، أشهد أن عليا وأولاده المعصومين حجج الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين، وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا، بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله وليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائمة قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار بجاه محمد وآله الأطهار. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمد رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين بجاه محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
ملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. تسبيح جناب فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم استغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. All of us together. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كن لوليك الحجة لابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Jummah Mubarak to you all. Inshallah, quite a few announcements. As we are going through this holy month of Ramadan, as we have daily program, you guys are all aware of it. Starts every day, 6:30, with group recitation of Quran, followed by Dua Iftitah, Salatul Maghrib. We have Iftar, and after Iftar, we come back for Salatul Isha, and we have the daily lecture. Tonight's program, of course, will be different. Tonight we have the intra and interfaith program. That program is going to start at 6 p.m. with the reception of guests coming in from, of course, different faiths, and as well as we've asked you to bring your neighbors, non-Muslim neighbors especially, so that they can also take part in this breaking of the fast together. Program will start at 6:30. We'll feature a few speeches by the guests that are coming, and some of the officials that are also going to be joining. A very short and sweet program, 45 minutes inshallah, and 7:15 will conclude. Our non-Muslim guests will take him down for breaking the fast, or if they're fasting, if they're not fasting, or Even our Ahl Sunnah brothers and sisters, they'll go ahead and they'll break their fast, and inshallah we'll have Salatul Maghrib and we'll follow the way we normally do. So what we'll do is Dua Iftatah will be done after Isha tonight, inshallah. It will not be done before Salatul Maghrib as we have been doing in the past. So do attend, be here on time so that everybody's here. And when the guests come, they see everyone's already in place and seated, so we can start the program right on time and inshallah conclude right on time, giving a good image to non-Muslims and other people of our Muslim community. Inshallah, topic you had heard, very important discussion that inshallah will be taking place. I forgot right here. Technology. Promoting unity and compassion and praying for peace globally, especially Gaza. So that is the discussion topic, inshallah. Hopefully all of you can join us. Other announcements as far as the regular programs, Al-Mahdi workshops and children youth programs and ladies game night, they all are happening in these 2 days, Friday and Saturday. So Al-Mahdi workshop, aside from the moms and toddlers program, all the other workshops will be happening as scheduled. The Ramadan workshop for children with special needs will also be taking place tonight. Dua Iftatah, learn how to recite, that'll inshallah also be happening tonight. Book club, begin with praise, inspiration from Dua Iftatah, that'll also be taking place tonight at 9 p.m. after the main program concludes. And there was a ladies pickleball and game night, that'll be tomorrow, March the 23rd and April 6th. And of course, all of this had gone out in the email, so you can look it over there. Also tomorrow, tomorrow we will also be holding Isa alayhi Sawab Majlis for Marhum Syed Rizvi, who passed away yesterday and was buried yesterday. His Soy Majlis will be taking place tomorrow. Program is slightly different. It's going to start at 4 o'clock with Quran Khani. 4 to 5 will be Quran Khani. 5 o'clock, the Majlis will start with the Urdu portion of it. So Salam and Marsiya, and inshallah, followed by a lecture. We'll conclude so that we can do Dua Iftatah as usually we do. And then inshallah, Salatul Maghrib, Iftar, Salatul Isha. And tomorrow night, I was just informed that IMI will also be holding their presentation after Salatul Isha tomorrow night. So after the main program concludes, after Salatul Isha, 8:30 to 9 o'clock, IMI will be doing their presentation as well. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Did I miss anything? I think I got them all. All right. There's a request for Dua Sahat for some of the mu'mineen, especially Hussein Ali ibn Ramzan Ali. In this moment is on ventilator, struggling for his life. And other mu'mineen and mu'minat in our community who are in need of dua. They are suffering, struggling, going through a difficult time. People of Gaza and Muslimin all around the globe. Let's recite this ayah karima together 5 times. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ 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 وَيَجْعَلُكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ أَإِلَٰهٌ مَّعَ اللَّهِ قَلِيلًا مَّا تَذَكَّرُونَ. So you've been hearing every night, those who've been coming here on a daily basis, at the time of announcement, the plea for ACH program. If you already signed up for it, thank you very much. Maybe you'll consider this Ramadan increasing the ACH amount. And if you haven't explored this and if you haven't signed up yet, there are tables outside. There are QR codes you can easily scan and then sign up. And usually on nightly programs, and we have for Iftar, there's some people sitting outside to help you with that. Easy process. You can do it online as well. You don't need to fill out any paperwork. It's been made easy. And it feels good at the end of the month, right? When you see on your statement with your bills that go for PSE&G, that go for electric and gas, and it goes for internet and Verizon and whatnot. In the middle of all of that, Masjid-e-Ali, right? And you say, well, all these other things that I'm paying, they're only helpful over here. But that one in the middle right there that goes to Masjid-e-Ali, that's something which is, inshallah, going to be responsible for the hereafter, guarantee for the hereafter, inshallah. So I encourage highly, this is the high time, in Ramadan, we're already as it is in the mood of giving. Come in the Laylatul Qadr, inshallah, we'll be asking more and more. We ask because, we need, and you can give, and you continue giving. The moment you stop giving, they'll stop, asking as well. No, I'm joking. We continue to ask, and we'll continue asking because this is not for us. This is for the betterment of our community and our society and our community. And you see the results of it. You have this facility right here. You have Sadiq School in the back. You have daycare that is going on. You saw yesterday, not bragging, but there were 2 janazas that took place, and we're able to accommodate both the families and their people with 2 janazas. 2 janazas, just keeping them both here, keeping the both bodies here, and then transporting them to the graveyard. All that process seamlessly done without any, one worrying about it. Family doesn't have to worry one bit once an email comes to us for burial requests. So all of these are some things that Masjid is offering. Now you saw the land on the side as well that was purchased last year and donated by a generous member of community. It's been cleaned up and it looks beautiful. If you haven't seen it, drive around on the way back and you'll see how it's nicely been cleaned up, and inshallah it'll be used for some of the purposes that I don't want to mention from here, but nonetheless, it is something which we are continue to see the growth. It's not stagnant. We're not stationary. We're moving in the right direction, inshallah, with your all support. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن عليا ولي الله أشهد أن عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار بجاه محمد وآله الأطهار الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته يقوم وأقعد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد تسبيح
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला मुहम्मद व आलि मुहम्मद या अली या अज़ीम या गफ़ूर या रहीम अंतर रब्बुल अज़ीमुल लज़ी लैसा कमिस्लिही शैउन व हुवस समीउल बसीर व हाज़ा शहरुन नज़्ज़मतहु व कर्रमतहु व शर्रफ़तहु व फ़ज़्ज़लतहु अला शहूर व हुवा शहरुल लज़ी फ़रज़ता सियामहु अलैया व हुवा शहरु रमज़ानिल लज़ी अनज़लत फ़ीहिल क़ुरान हुदन लिन्नासि व बय्यिनातिन मिनल हुदा वल फ़ुरक़ान वजअलता फ़ीहि लैलतल क़द्र वजअलतहा खैरम मिन अल्फ़ि शहर फ़याज़ल मन्नि वला युमन्नु अलैक मुन्ना अलैया बिफ़िकाक रक़बती मिनन नार फ़ीमन तमुन्नु अलैहि वअदख़िलनी अल जन्ना बिरहमतिक या अरहमर राहिमीन।
ज़ियारत इमाम हसन मुज्तबा बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम अलैका या नबी अल्लाह, अस्सलाम अलैका या अमीरुल मोमिनीन या कसीमुल जन्नति वन नार, अस्सलाम अलैका सय्यिदुल आलमीन, अस्सलाम अलैका या इब्न रसूलल्लाह या इब्न नबीयल्लाह या इब्न अमीरुल मोमिनीन या इब्न फ़ातिमत ज़हरा या इब्न ख़दीजतुल कुबरा, अस्सलाम अलैका या हबीबल्लाह या सफ़वतल्लाह या अमीनल्लाह या हुज्जतुल्लाह, अस्सलाम अलैका या नूरुल्लाह या सिरातल्लाह या इंसान हिकमतुल्लाह, अस्सलाम अलैका या नासिर दीनिल्लाह, अस्सलाम अलैका या सय्यद ज़की, अस्सलाम अलैका अय्युल आलिमु बित्तंज़ील, अस्सलाम अलैका अय्युल हादिल महदी, अस्सलाम अलैका या तारिक़ ज़की, अस्सलाम अलैका या सिद्दीक़ुश शहीद अय्यदुल हक़्क़ुल हक़ीक़, अस्सलाम अलैका या मौला या मुहम्मद हसन अली व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू, अस्सलाम अलैका या अबा अब्दुल्लाह, अस्सलाम अलैकुम या अहल बैतुन नबुव्वह जमीअन व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू, अस्सलाम अलैका या साहिबल असर व ज़मान या महज़रल ईमान या खलीफ़तुर रहमान या काबतुल ईमान या तफ़सीरुल फ़ुरक़ान, अस्सलाम अलैका या शरीकुल क़ुरआन, अस्सलाम अलैका या इमाम ज़मानना अज्जलल्लाहु फ़रजक व सहह्लहु मख़रजक व ज़ुहूरक व